Earlier in this unit, we took a look at perfect square trinomials and difference of squares. Now we're just looking at factoring them. Again, they should be really easy if you know what to look for in a perfect square trinomial and a difference of squares. We'll start with difference of squares. They're generally the easy ones. So remember, if we expand 3 or x plus 3, x minus 3, we get x squared minus 9. So that means when we see x squared minus 9, we're just going to get x plus 3, x minus 3. That's it. If we were to expand this here, 2x minus 4 and 2x plus 4, we're going to get 4x minus 16. Or sorry, 4x squared minus 16. So that means 4x squared minus 16 factors down to the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of x is x. Plus the square root of 16, which is 4. And then the same thing again with a minus sign. One more here, 5x plus 3y times 5x minus 3y. So that's going to get us 25x squared minus 9y squared. So when we factor that, 25x squared minus 9y squared, we should get 5x plus 3y, 5x minus 3y. That's it. So when you see these difference of squares, perfect square, and a subtraction in between, the difference of squares, they factor like this every time. Calling our perfect square trinomials, if we expand this out here, we'd have x squared plus 10x plus 25. So if I factor that, again, it's the square root of the first and last terms, just recognizing that the middle is 2 times the square root of that. I'm left with x, and it's a plus because of that sign there, 5 squared. This one here should work out to this. Let's check it out. 36, so we got an x, and then 6. So let's make sure that works. 6 times 2 is 12. And that's a negative sign there, so we put a negative in the middle. That's how that should work out. And let's double check, see it's the same. That is x squared. Negative 6 times 2 is 12x. And then the negative 6 squared is the 36. Yep, that one works. So even if we have the multiple numbers there, we recognize that's a perfect square, that's a perfect square. So we just got to check, is that 16 plus 9 times 2? And, or sorry, not 16 times 9 times 2, but the square root of each. So the square root would be 4x here. The last number would be 3. Just to double check that, is that 4 times 3 times 2. 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. So there is our perfect square trinomial. And again, double checking here, we do 4 squared is 16x squared. And then 4 times 3 times 2 using our rule is 24x. And then 3 squared is 9. So these ones here, you just want to be able to recognize these situations. And if you can, it'll save you some work. You won't have to do all the extra work that we're doing here where we're expanding and factoring. Just doing the quick factor. If you can recognize those, very, very, very handy.